And this segment is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbooking app, and it's safe and secure because I know how much you love security. I know how much you love to just feel safe when it comes to, putting your wages down and things like that, man, because we're safe guys. We like to play it pretty safe in that situation, man. DraftKings Sportsbook gives you that. And not only that, man, if you use the promo code, this is for all my first-time users out there. If you use promo code MOATS, that's MOATS, you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money, man. Who doesn't love free money, right? So what are you waiting on, baby? Let's get in the game, get a chance to win, baby, because that's all we need is a chance. That's it. Just get you a chance to win, baby. So download the app, use the promo code MOATS, and let's get it. Here we were thinking special teams didn't matter. Y'all thought I wasn't going to get that opportunity to talk special teams?
You're right. It doesn't matter until things
something
don't
bad
go our
happens.
way.
Now we want to, man, what's going on with the I have never, as long as we've been putting these videos up and checking the comments, I can't tell, maybe 2 times in the whole year and a half we've been doing this, I've seen a comment about special teams. And it was more so, man, Ray McLeod or Deontay Johnson. Not, man, what about the special teams units? Today? Oh, man, it was jam-packed, man. You want a special team question, pick your poison. You want to talk kickoff return. You want to talk punt return. Like, I never had somebody ask me about field goal protection, field goal protection. I said, who? We talking field goal protection now? I love it.
That's why we didn't kick it at the end, dude.
Absolutely.
I was actually good with it. As weird as it sounds, I understood the decision before even hearing Tomlin's press conference.
Absolutely.
I'm like, bro, they might block this and take this to the house.
No question. Which they blocked 2. We had missed the extra. It was like, bro, come on, man. Like, we ain't got time for this, man. We don't have time for this. Which people going crazy. They're like, oh, man, that's just stupid, man. You kicked the field goal in that scenario. I'm like, you do not kick the field goal in that scenario where you've given up 2 blocks and you know your protection is leaky. Like, and it's not even on the edge. Like, sometimes if you get it blocked off the edge, you're like, all right, based on, and actually this next question, it does kind of pertain to the field goal situation. So we'll get to that. But if the block is coming off of the edge, you're not worried because just schematically, that's typically your free rusher. It's the equivalent of if you're playing offense, right? And it's a 0 blitz where they're going to bring more people than you have the block. It's more operation time, right? Or you got to make that guy miss. Now, obviously, when you're kicking a field goal, you don't have the luxury of making the free rusher miss. So it's operation time. You say, hey, look, we got to get this ball snapped, put down, and kicked within 1.3 seconds or 1.7 seconds. Like, you're trying to operate that fast because the guy on the end of the line of scrimmage is going to have a free rush off the edge. He just has to bend the corner. He's going to have probably 2 steps and a dive to try to get in the ball in the window. So that. But when it's coming from the interior, that goes out the window. That changes your whole thought process because there is no operation that you can do to help an interior rusher getting free like that and doing it on back-to-back rushes. Now, this next question, because like I said, it does pertain to this, is from Mansa-Musa 54K. Shout out to Mansa-Musa 51K. All right. And he says, why do you think that we were not able to make better adjustments on the field goal team? It was puzzling to me because the Steelers are one of the best teams at making adjustments in game. For me, the thing when you're talking about making adjustments on field goal protection, it's hard to because it's always going to be personnel based. There really is not a lot of scheme that you can do to change it. Whereas, for example, on offense, we saw, offense is stagnant. They can't run the ball. What do? Spread them out, hurry up the tempo. All right, on defense, if you can't generate pressure with 4 rushers, what do? You blitz them. So you have alternatives. With field goal, you don't have that luxury. You can't just say, we're going to use a different field goal formation here, unless you go back to the college rules of the swinging gate where one group is over here, the other group is over here. But typically when you're doing all that, you're trying to cover up for your inefficiencies in protection. But the biggest thing that was going on in terms of that rusher getting through the gaps all the time is more so you got to block an area. You're not blocking a man. And between Cam Kennedy and Kevin Dotson, at times, they weren't consistently blocking the area. Meaning, if me and you are right and left, or if me and you are side by side, think of like the Spartans, right? Your shield protects me. My shield protects that guy. But my spear is you. Your spear is that guy next to you. So my hand is one side of the gap. Your hand is the other side of the gap. It was times where the snap would go, one guy doesn't get the hand up, or both guys get the hand up and it was clean. But it was either one guy's getting the hand up or the other guy's not getting the hand up. It wasn't happening consistently enough. And for those bigger D linemen, they're able to, and they teach you this, it's called a knife technique. So the ball snapped and you want to shoot because you can't line up over the center, right? Because of the personal foul. So you line up right outside his shoulder pads framework. So your foot should be right where his foot is on a wider stance. And from there, you're shooting the gap. You're trying to swim that gap. You know that guard is more likely to get a hand on you because he doesn't have another rule. It's just snap, shoot both hands. One hand in one gap, one hand in the other gap. But you're trying to beat the snapper. If you can get your butt in front of that or behind that snapper's hands before he gets him up, you have him beat right there. And now from there, just get your other leg through and try to re-elevate. And that rusher was able to do that. And it's one of those things from a technique standpoint. It's a simple fundamental to fix, but when you don't do it, you see how glaring of a hole it is. Now, typically, this could have, I have to look on the tape too to see has this been going on, because a lot of times stuff like that has been going on. It's just teams don't necessarily attack it. Not everybody plays field goal the same way. Not everybody plays special teams the same way. But we know with what's the guy named John Fassel, I think it's the special teams coach for the Cowboys.
I have no clue.
Yeah, so the special teams coach for the Cowboys, he's actually like a really legit special teams coach. He was with, I want to say he was with the Rams. Hold on.
You're interested in this?
No. I know. I just try to make sure I pronounce his name right.
This dude's a guru.
I mean, everybody will throw guru just to make it sound special. I just think he's a really good coach. But yeah, I ain't about to start saying all that. Yeah, John Fassel. So John Fassel, he is a legit special teams guy, like really good. I mean, anybody that talks special teams will know who he is, right? But the thing, what I was talking about is not every team attacks that the same way. Some teams, they look at it as, hey, look, man, you just go out there, bro, and just line up. Like, it's special teams. Who cares? Then no, seriously, because I've been a part of places like that. I promise you, man. And it's more so you could just see the intent behind it. Some coaches, they're like, no, we're going to scheme this up. We're going to find different ways to attack you. You think that throwback punt, that's something that a team that doesn't care about special teams is going to run? Not a chance. But when you see these different coaches that understand special teams, understand the importance of it and how to attack it, why do you think New England for so long, we saw many times they would hit you on different plays or do different rushes to put you in compromising situations because they understand.
They kick the ball right at the goal line every time once the rules change. So instead of getting it at the 25, you'd have to return it and you'd only get to like the 15.
Baltimore's another one. They do that. They're going to kick it extremely high in the air so you can't fair catch it. It's going to drop right at the 1. So now not only did you have to play because in the field of play, but because of the hang time on it, now the coverage unit that might not be the fastest, they're already inside the 20 before you catch the ball. So when you focus on that element of it and put the strategy element into it, you get that. And trust me, here in Pittsburgh, Danny Smith is another guy who is always trying to figure out different things. We could draw to this would have been 2016, I think it was, Robert Golden, the fake punt pass on the right sideline. I think that was against Cincinnati actually to close out a game. We've seen numerous times where different special team plays like that happen. Now, we also see where it doesn't work as well. But for the guys, the coaches, and the teams that put forth an emphasis and an effort in that regard or in that area, you can see how you can make that into a weapon. And that's why I'm always talking about like the importance of it, because it's plays to be made if you do it right and you can catch a team, in a bad situation. I thought the way they drew up that fake punt was beautiful. I mean, having CJ give you the fake pull the hammy as a gunner, because it's the thing, right? When you're on the other side and you're the gunner, you're not worried about that guy blocking you. You're trying to beat him. And once you get ahead of him, you're not looking to see where he's going. Your thought process is, I'm getting to the ball. So you already know right there how I'm using your rules against you. And now, okay, everybody's going over there to the ball. This guy sitting over here by himself. You make the throw. And now we already got a natural wall set up because the guy was on one side of the field and everybody's closed so hard over there. But you're not going to teach the coverage unit to not rush over there, because then you give up the return on the front side. So you can see the predicament you could put people in if you scheme it up right. So that's what they were doing, man. And like I said, with the field goal block, they could have been seeing this on tape that, hey, man, between Kennedy and Dotson or Kennedy, whoever that right guard is, they don't get their hand up fast enough to protect that area. They're blocking more man and not gap. And hey, we're going to just line you up right here and swim it. And whatever they saw, man, it was working for them. But that was the biggest thing, man. Especially, like I said, those two that we saw in this game, they just weren't getting their hands up. You got both guys got to have one hand in that gap to block it together. But you can't have two hands in the gap because then you expose another gap behind you. So literally, you block it, half a man, and you go from there. But that was the biggest thing that I saw. And that's why you really couldn't make adjustments.
And it makes sense, too. You're not getting... Like for an offense, you can have so many reps in a drive or a series. Same with the defense, where you are constantly trying to figure it out as it goes. Special teams, you get one shot at it, really.
Absolutely.
Every once in a blue moon throughout a game, right?
A whole bunch of one-play drives. And then we also said that from a practice standpoint, if it's a 2-hour practice, maybe 10 minutes of that is dedicated to special teams. And that's legit. And that's league-wide, that's collegiate. Like, just because obviously you're preparing for maybe 30 snaps of special teams total compared to 60 to 80 snaps of offense and defense. So that's why you have to allot it that way. But that puts you open to some of these things where you're like, well, hey, we just didn't have enough reps to rep all of this stuff, you know? But I can tell you what, whoever the Cowboys play next week, they're mad because now they got extra stuff they got to prepare for from a special team standpoint, because now you're seeing, oh, they got a throwback in here now. Okay, so how does it build on the throwback? The fake throwback. I mean, it's always something next. It's like, all right, what's the next element? You always try to be ahead of the curve, so that way you're never caught surprised like that. But that's the beauty of special teams, baby.